how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. It's another week and another 3 looks 1 palette video. This week we played with the Ace Beaute Flair palette. I love this palette. I took this palette with me to New York. This was one of the few palettes I took with me to New York. I used it almost every day in New York, and that was like 12 days, so I'm really into this palette. I played with this and did a first impressions right before I went on my trip, and you guys really wanted me to do a 3 looks 1 palette video, and I said I promise I will do it when I get back. Well, this is the first one that I'm filming as I am back, so here we are. Let me just show you the color story. It looks like this. It is so pretty. This is me in a palette. Can't stress that enough. It's both colorful and grungy, and it's just yummy, and everything that I would want in a palette. This hits all the marks for me personally. Like I said before, I played with it almost every day when we were in New York, and we were there for 12 days, so I probably played with this specifically at least 9 of the days. I love it. I loved every look I created with it. I did really simple looks, I did really extravagant looks, and I loved all of them. Ace Beaute is easily one of my favorite brands right now. I think their shadow formula is so good. I think their palettes are really well put together. They have really awesome color stories. I have this palette, I have the 4 in the Paradise collection, and I have the, what's it called? Grandiose palette or something like that. But anyways, we're talking about this palette today. As you saw from the intro, I created this kind of fall vibesy kind of look. I did that really pretty hot neon red look with the bright neon yellow inner corner, and then I also did that really cool greeny blue kind of look. If you want to watch me create these looks, then just keep watching, and then we'll talk some more about the palette at the end. Starting this first look off with Forest Pine, I'm basically just tucking that in the outer corner of the eye, just really building that depth in the outer corner. I don't know how else to put it, but I just really want this to be very winged out and very deep, and then once I have less product on the brush, I will start to drag that through the rest of the crease. But again, heavy focus in that outer corner as well as underneath that lower lash line. Just really taking my time to build up that wing-like shape. Then I'm going to be going in with Atlantis, and I'm just going to be blending that right above where we placed that Forest Pine shade, just to begin to create that gradient as it blends out into my skin. Just going all the way from inner to outer corner, and again, really focusing on that wing-like shape. I really want it to be nice and extended. Next, I'm going in with Sherbet, I don't know how to say it, everyone says it different, but I'm just taking this shade and blending right above what we just did. Again, creating that gradient, just having that nice soft flow of colors all around the outside of the eye. And again, with some heavy focus in that wing-like shape. Going back in with that second shade just to add a little bit more of that blue into the mix. And then taking some Colourpop concealer on my lid and looking up to see where I should cut the crease. I'm just taking that and doing a half cut crease with this. Just taking it and stopping right about where those deep shades really begin to build up in that outer corner. Next, I'm taking Bayberry, and I'm going to be placing that right on the in between where the concealer is and where that blue outside shade is in the outer corner of my eye. Just really packing this shade down. And then I'm going to be taking Biscotti, and I'm packing that right in the front half of the eye, just focusing that right up to where we cut the crease and blending that into that shimmery blue shade. Nothing too wild and crazy. Then I'm just taking some Forest Pine again, just to buff and blend that edge in the outer corner of the eye. And then I'm popping some more Sherbet on the inner corner just for a nice pop of neon yellow. And then taking my Bold Face Lashes Out lashes and my Pop Beauty Nearly Nude liquid lipstick, I'm just tapping this around on my lips. And then I'm going to take my Apocalyptic Beauty Snow Glare lip topper and just popping that on my lips. Going in first with the shade Saffron, I'm just heavily packing this in the outer corner. Again, I'm going to be building up a wing-like shape with this look. I really want this to be very elongated. And then dragging some of that shade down through the crease once I have less product on that brush. But really, I do want a heavy, bright red eye look with this. I'm not really working too hard to make it lighter. Just trying to lay this color down to start with, basically. Just going to take a clean brush to begin fluffing out those edges so it blends as soft as possible. But again, I really want this look to be dramatic, so I'm not worried too much about it. You want it to be blended, but not over blended, if you know what I mean. I just want this to be very impactful. I felt like by kind of leaving this bright red as the predominant color choice for this look, it really did sell that effect. Then I'm just taking some more of that saffron shade and popping that all over the lid. Again, nothing too crazy. I'm just laying this down everywhere where there's still skin showing. Next, I'm taking Atlantis and I'm going to heavily smoke this out on the lower lash line, just taking my time building that color up so it's as intense as I want it to be. I really was going for kind of a primary color kind of vibe with this look, actually, now that I think about it. I love primary colors together. Taking Forest Pine now and just popping that right up against the lashes just to add some extra depth where I felt like it was a little lacking. And then I'm just going to go back through and smoke that out even more with a little bit more Atlantis. Nothing really too crazy. I just want this to be very smoky. And then I'm going to go in with Sherbert with a no-name pencil brush. I'm just heavily packing that in the inner corner. And I'm not working too hard to blend this out because I don't want it to blend into the rainbow colors by mixing with the red and the blue. And then taking my Milk Makeup stamp and the peace sign, popping some of those on my eyeballs. And then I'm just going to take my Bold Face Lashes Out lashes and my Jeffree Star Checkmate Liquid Lip. I'm popping this on and I love this because it matches the eyes perfectly. For this last look, I'm starting with Acorn, and I'm just going to be popping that in the outer corner and then dragging it through the crease all the way from inner to outer corner, basically. I'm not doing anything revolutionary right now. I'm just trying to lay the shade down directly in the crease, essentially. And also smoking that out underneath that lower lash line, as I usually do. Next, I'm taking Aubergine, and I'm just going to be blending that right above where we were just laying that Acorn shade down, just to begin to create that blend and that gradient into other colors. Again, all the way from inner to outer corner, just following where I laid that Acorn shade down, basically. I don't want this shade anywhere that the Acorn shade wasn't. I'm also going to be smoking that underneath that lower lash line, of course, because I also laid the Acorn shade down there. I just want a nice halo around the Acorn shade, basically. Wow, how many times can I repeat myself? And then just laying a little bit more Acorn where I see fit. Going in next with Pumpkin, I'm going to be blending that right above that Aubergine shade with a very light hand. I don't want this to be too overwhelming, which you'll see in a second. I do go back with some Aubergine because this did overwhelm it a little bit, but I'm just going above where we had the Aubergine shade to lay this pumpkin-y shade down. And here we are going in again with a little more Aubergine just to add a little bit more of that purpliness to the look. Next, I'm taking Cider and I'm blending that above everything we've done previously, just to, again, tie in the look a little bit more, create even more of a blend and a gradient, all the way from inner to outer corner and underneath that lower lash line. Taking my Colourpop concealer, I'm popping some on my lid, looking up so I can see where to cut the crease, and just beginning to do a half cut crease, and I'm stopping it right where those shades really deepen in the outer corner of the eye. Next, I'm taking Mirage and I'm placing that kind of in the in-between where the concealer is and where the outer shades are in the outer corner. Outer shades in the outer corner, you know what I mean, where the Acorn shade is really building up. That's where I'm placing this Mirage shade. And then I'm taking Moss and I'm packing that in the front half of the eye. I know this is kind of different having a shimmer and a matte on the lid like this, but I really liked the effect. I thought it was different. I thought it was cool. And I'm just really taking my time to lay this Moss shade down. I didn't want this to... I don't know, I didn't want this to be faded at all, so I'm really taking my time to heavily pack it everywhere that I put it. I want this to be I want it to be a very good pop of green, basically. And then just being really careful blending between where that Mirage shade and where the Moss shade are, because you don't want that red and green to mix too much because it will muddy out. I'm just doing light tapping motions to get it as seamless as possible without it being over blended. And then I'm packing some of that Cider in the inner corner for a cute little yellow moment. And then taking my Bold Face Lashes Out lashes again and my Anastasia Kristen Gloss, I'm popping that all over my lips, and that'll be it for this look. That's it. Those are my looks. I really hope you liked them. Let me know which look was your favorite. I truly do not have a favorite. I love all of these looks equally, as well as I've loved all the looks that I've created with this palette so far. I've played with this palette more than any other palette in a long time. It's been a while since I've just sat down and played with solely one palette for such a long stretch of time because I'm constantly playing with new palettes, you know? But this year I really want to try to slow down on the palette spending. Not that I'm going on a low buy or a no buy because I just don't think that's something that would work for me. I just want to focus my attention on some of the stuff I already have, you know? And I also really want to get into single shadows this year. If you saw my talking about brands I want to try this year video, you heard me say that, but I really want to get into single shadows this year. I feel like, I don't know where my thoughts are going, but I want to get less into buying every palette, like multiple palettes a month to where I can't even keep up with them, to just transitioning to getting really cool single shadows that I can incorporate in with my palettes, you know? Anyway, what do you guys think of this palette? What do you think of the color scheme? What do you think of the looks I created? Which one was your favorite? Do you have this palette? Are you planning on getting it? I want to chat about everything. I truly love that palette. Again, I played with it for such a long time, so I can safely say I love this palette so much. It is my current favorite palette in my collection. I would use this every single day. I don't think I would get sick of it for a while. I can create a variety of different looks, and I don't have issues with the performance of the shadows. What can I say? Highly recommend if you are thinking of getting it. I think you would really enjoy it. Anyways, if you're not already, please hop over to my Instagram and follow me there. It's beautbean, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave. I post every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Next week's 3 Looks 1 Palette video will be on the Juvia's Place Tribe palette. I'm excited to start playing with that. It is such a good palette. That's another one that's really high up there for me. I just think it's such a cool color story, but we'll get into that next week. Let me know what palettes you want to see 3 Looks 1 palettes on starting the week after that, because I need ideas for the future videos. And I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye!